You say about a comeback win. What did you tell your team at halftime?
Well, we had to play defense. We came out, gave up 63 points in the first half. They surprised us by their ability to shoot the ball, and we didn't know their players. We had never seen any of them really before, and so it was a shock that they could come out and go 12 for 17 from the three-point line in the first half, but give credit to the guys. They made a decision at halftime. They were going to come out and defend. I think we gave up 18 points in the third quarter, and I don't know how many we gave up, 20, maybe early 20s, low 20s in the fourth. And like I said outside, we're going to make some nice plays. We're going to make some nice three-point shots. Dwight's going to hit some shots and do some things. Justin's going to do his thing. We're going to do some nice things out there, make some nice passes. But what is going to win for us is our defense, and that's what we're going to hang our hat on, and that's what we've constantly talked about since we've been together. And that's why it was so disappointing to go out and give up 63 points in that first half. But as disappointed as we are in that first half, I'm just really proud of the guys for flipping the script. We were night and day in the second half. Guys defended extremely well, got us back in the game, and then the great play of Justin and Dwight and AJ, just carried us down the stretch and into the win. But at halftime, it didn't look like we had much of a chance, right? So again, you got to give credit to the guys for really changing the whole tempo of the game there in the second half. CJ, I thought, was the catalyst there in the third quarter. And imagine, he just came off a 6-game series, championship series at home, long playoff, had no rest, showed up yesterday, and then he comes in and basically wins the game for us there in the third quarter. Gave us a chance at least to win. So kudos to CJ. I've always felt that CJ is a game changer. That's why he's on the team. He's the kind of guy who can come out and change the whole tempo of the game. So, every player we have has a certain role. There's certain things that he adds to what we want as a collective group. And CJ is the fact that he can come off the bench and really just change the game at times.
Coach, after this send-off game, what are the things that the team should address heading into the FIBA Asia Cup?
We just got to keep doing what we're doing. I thought we had 2 really good weeks of practice. Even though we didn't have the full crew, I thought we had 2 really good weeks of practice. And we got to also remember we just came off of 3 straight days of 2-a-day practices. Practice in the morning, weights, doing the practice in the evenings. We did that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then turned around and came here and played. We practiced 6 o'clock yesterday evening in our last practice. So, I think the guys just had a hard time getting their legs under them in the beginning, but once they got going, they were fine. So I thought, like I said, we did 2 good weeks of practice. We've got to be able to execute a little bit better, but then on the other hand, we don't want to restrict these guys strictly to execution because they're basketball players and they're elite basketball players. We got to allow them to play their game, and that's what they did there in the second half. They just came out and made basketball plays because they're capable of making basketball plays. They're some of the best players in the country, so we got to allow them to have the freedom to really make plays at times.
Coach Calvin and June Warner sat out tonight's game. Is that a point of concern, or will they be completely ready for Jeddah?
Well, we're not sure about Calvin. The medical reports are that he might be out a little bit longer. So far that we've gotten. But Jumar, we expect him to start practicing when we land in Jeddah. So he's going to take another 2 or 3 days off from doing any physical activity, and then we expect him to start practicing when we arrive, which would be like the 31st and evening of the 31st, I think, over there. And we expect him to play in our friendly against Jordan. He changes the game for us. We have to play in a different way with Jumar on the floor, and that's that's the only concern is that we haven't had much practice time with him, and you know he has such an impact that you have to kind of play differently when he's on the floor. So we have to learn that difference when he's on the floor. But you know, we'll see what's going on with him. Hopefully, like I said, he'll be ready on the 31st.
Coach, regarding Calvin's medical report, is that the one he aggravated during the finals? Is that
Yeah. We were given a medical report from his camp, and so we're not sure if he's going to be available for the whole tournament. So we're going to try to address that today or tomorrow. And we got Troy and RJ sitting on the wings to step in if necessary.
Coach, should talk about the things that you have to deal with the most against your first three opponents. New Zealand, side in Iraq.
What are the what?
What are the things that you have to deal with the most against?
Well, you know, I mean, if I tell you, I have to kill you. We don't want to expose too much about what we're doing in terms of strategy or scheming, but you know, Taiwan beat us the last time we played them, and they added two young Division I players in the Hinton brothers, and those guys are making an impact on that team. So, you know, they definitely have the personnel. It wasn't a fluke that they beat us, but so we have to be really prepared for them. Obviously, New Zealand is always going to be tough, no matter what team they send. And then Iraq, we don't know a lot about Iraq yet, but we're finding out as we go along. But you know, you know the old saying, we'll take it one game at a time at this point, and that's truly the reason you say it's because it's always true. And right now, what on our minds right now is Taiwan. We got to get through them.
But did you watch them play against strong group?
Sure, yeah. We got a lot of video on them. They were in the Jones Cup, played 6 or 7 games in the Jones Cup. So, and they actually dominated the Jones Cup. They lost to Strong after being up by like 15 points, and Renz Bondo had a great ending to the game to bring them back and win that game. And that's the only game that Taiwan lost. Taiwan White lost. So they blew out a whole bunch of teams over there. So we know we have a battle on hand. We're going to be ready.
Coach, is Renz and Saber still in the picture? They're no longer in the.
Renz is because he hasn't been able to come in and really practice with us. He's not. And then the Lucero, we never got a go ahead from FIBA to put him in as a local. So we're still checking on that. But right now it's been RJ and Troy, and they have been with us from the first moment we started practicing. And I don't know how we could have gotten through this whole last 2 weeks without them, because we were practicing with 7, 8 guys through most of the week, and without Troy or RJ, we would have been down to 6 or 5. So they were really, really crucial to our preparation. And you know, we'll see again. You know, they are locked into what we do. So, you know, we'll see again how the only question mark at this point for the team really is Calvin, and whether he's going to be able to go or not.
Coach, what can you say about the play of Quentin Miller?
He's awesome, man. I'd love to have him. Man. He is physical. He gets to the offensive boards real well, and he lends, you know, great size. But it's not there yet. I mean, I can dream and wish. I dream we had Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. You know, that's not possible either. So. But if I had an opportunity, man, I would love to have QMB on the team.
Coach, with RJ in the main point guard spot, will Scotty slide down to the number 2 for the Asia Cup?
No, they'll back each other up. We don't play with a pure point guard in our team anyway. It's really a 2-guard front. So you know, New will still play some point. Dwight will still play some point, depending on how we want to match up to the other team in terms of size. RJ's had really 2 great weeks of practice with us, and so, you know, we're very, very comfortable with RJ handling the ball for us, and his defense has really improved, and we think he can definitely play at this level, so and contribute. So we won't be afraid if he has to be a part of the team, you know. So it's not a worry.
So, Coach, you're gonna have a rest tomorrow before your flight on
Yes, we will
Wednesday,
rest.
Or will you train?
No, we'll rest tomorrow. We've been, like I said, we did 2 days for the last 3 days prior to today. And so we've already, that's 6 practices that we've had in 2-3 days. So these guys need to get their legs back underneath them. We'll take the day off tomorrow, and we'll practice on Tuesday morning before we leave. We leave in the evenings, I think about 11 o'clock. Yeah, tomorrow's Tuesday. Yeah, we'll take the day off tomorrow, Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, sorry.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Wednesday we'll practice in the morning and then leave that evening. And then we'll fly, and then when we arrive, we have a practice that evening again in Jeddah. And then I think the next day or 2 days after that we play in Jordan.
Coach, been wishing for more practice time. How satisfied are you that it seems like you got your wish?
Well, yeah, in a way, because we were able to get a couple weeks in terms of, but we don't, like I said, we wanted a complete team, so that made it difficult. But we had a good core, you know, Justin, AJ, you know, and it was really important for AJ to be here because AJ was awesome tonight. You have to admit, and that was just being able to have him for 2 weeks. And I think the last trip we took, we only had him for 2 days. And then we arrived in Doha and played games. And then we went to Taiwan, had 1 practice, and then we went to New Zealand and had 1 practice. So in effect, we only had like 4 practices the whole last trip we had. So getting the practice time was crucial. But like I said, I'd like to get some practice time with Jumar. It's really important that we adjust to his presence.
Is there already confirmation about the tune-up game that you'll be playing in Jeddah?
Yeah, it's already been confirmed. We'll be playing Jordan. I don't know the time. I'm not sure of the time of the game. I just know it's on the 2nd.
Will Ronde play?
No, Ronde is not with Jordan. I think it's I can't remember his name.
Tucker.
Huh?
Tucker.
Yeah, Tucker. Yeah, Dar Tucker. I think he's the one playing with Jordan.
Is that good for Gilas without our
Anytime I'm ready. You're asking me?
Coach Kai Soto will not join.
No, he is headed over to Japan. It was really nice to have Kai, like I said, outside. You know, when the players left to go onto the court to warm up, there was only 2 players left inside, and it was Kai and Jumar. And it was like, you know, we're looking at look at the size we're leaving in the locker room with those 2 guys, and how much impact they would have on the game if they were playing. So, you know, I just think that Kai gives us an opportunity to compete with anybody in the world. Honestly, I just really feel that. I think we can compete with anybody in the world. Maybe not the dream team, well, you know, maybe not. But at least I feel like we can compete with anybody in the world. And certainly in Asia with Kai. With Kai out, it poses a lot more problems for us. But I still feel like we can be a really great team without him at this point. I'd certainly love to have him though with him. But he's going to Japan to continue his rehab. The Japan League is hoping he'll be back in time in October to play. And if he's back in October to play, maybe he'll be available to us in November in the World Cup qualifiers. But you know, you don't want to mess around with an ACL injury. So whatever time he needs, we're certainly going to give him. In the meantime, Jumar he wants to play. You know, even though he knows he's tired, he knows he's worn out. He's got a little bit of a calf issue, but he wants to play, and so that's not an issue for us.
Will Calvin be able to go to Jeddah?
We're still working that out. I don't want to preempt anything at this point. That's something we need to talk to him about, the MVP group about, and see exactly how he's feeling. But at this point, I'd say it's 50-50.
Coach, Gilas missed the quarterfinals in the last Asia Cup. Do you think the quarters is an achievable goal for this team?
Well, I'll say it again. Our goal is to win a gold medal. I mean, that's our goal. We're going to go out there and try to win a gold medal. Will we? I'm not sure. That's certainly our goal. That's not what we're focused on, though. We're focused on every day. You know, what we do every day We're focused right now on the first game we play, and beyond that, there's nothing right now. Our goal is certainly to win a gold medal, and we'll do what we can to get there. But we're not going to look that far ahead. Right now, our goal is there, but our focus is what's right in front of us, and that's practice on Wednesday.
Thank you, Coach.